What's up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're checking out the Volair Mach 2 Forza. This is a wide body paddle, unibody, thermoform, foamed edge. I have a 10% discount code with them. You just type in farmer at checkout. You'll get 10% off. I'll get a kickback from that. I have a lot to say about this paddle. I have been thoroughly enjoying it. You're going to hear why. In this review, I'm going to be talking about the 16mm and the 14mm. I have devoted several days consistently to just playing with them, and let's get into this. There's also something else I want to add. The accessories that are included with every Forza includes a paddle cover, a carbon eraser, a black replacement grip, a black paddle neck band, and a Volair sticker. When it comes to the pop and the power, we're going to talk about the 16mm first. In terms of power, this is one of the least powerful Gen 2 raw carbon fiber paddles that I played with. Usually when you play with these wide body shapes or shapes similar to this, like the Groovin 13S, the Yellow Scorpius 16, the Yellow Scorpius 13, the Kiwi Slice, they usually lack the power that elongated or hybrid shapes have. So the power is not quite going to be there with the 16mm. And when it comes to the pop, with the pop of it, it's not very poppy either. It is one of the more plush Gen 2 raw carbon fiber paddles. If you notice other people's reviews or my reviews, most wide body shaped paddles have a tendency to be softer than the elongated or hybrid shapes. I'm not exactly sure, but that seems to be the trend, at least so far. And I'm interested to see going forward how paddles are going to be. But yeah, this one doesn't have a crazy amount of pop or anything like that. But when it comes to the 14mm, you're going to have a little less power than you did with the 16mm, but the pop will be slightly higher. So if you want a paddle that has slightly more pop with a little less power, go with the 14. But if you want it's got a little more power and a little less poppy and a little more plush, then go with the 16mm. In terms of control, the Forza Mach 2 is easily one of the most controllable Gen 2 raw carbon fiber paddles I played with. I'm not exactly sure it's as controllable as the Kiwi Slice, but it is very, very close. Like if you play with this paddle and you played with any other Gen 2 raw carbon fiber paddle, the controlling this is not going to be an issue. It's honestly going to feel more controllable than a lot of the hybrid shapes that you're currently playing with. And in terms of the 14mm, I have played with the Groovin 13S and other paddles, and this one's power or stiffness and stuff is a little more subdued. So the two paddles from Volair are very controllable, the Mach 2s are, especially compared to a lot of the other paddles in the same category. This is the part where I am extremely, extremely pleased. When I felt the paddle, I noticed it had a decent amount of grip. Like it felt like sandpaper. At first, me and my brother were like, there's no way this is legal. And then when we started playing with it, there was a crazy amount of top spin. Our slices, everything was just dipping and just doing what you wanted to do, basically. And I feel like this is easily in the top 5 in terms of spin. Now, when it comes to the spin with these paddles, the 16mm is going to get slightly less spin than the 14mm. The thinner paddles generally get a little more spin than the thicker ones, so just keep that in mind. If you're wanting just a little bit extra spin, then you might want to go with the 14mm. A little more spin, a little extra poppy, but you lose a little bit of the control and the power. The weight of mine was 8.1 ounces, but the swing weight for mine was 111. So compared to hybrid and, elongated shapes, you're going to be able to get the paddle around quick for hand battles. So if low swing weight's what you're looking for, there's your low swing weight compared to other paddles. So next I'm going to talk about the Forza Mach 2 14mm. The 14mm is 7.78 ounces. And the overall swing weight on this one is 109. So once again, a crazy light swing weight when it comes to hand battles. Your plow through and stuff is going to be a lot less than it is with the elongated paddles. But when it comes to hand speed, you are going to have superior hands compared to the hybrid and the elongated shapes. The twist weight on these are 7.3 and 6.8. Okay, usually I would recommend 16mm due to the sweet spot, but due to the way this body shape is made, you can get away with using a 14mm without the sweet spot deteriorating at all. Usually 6.5 is what we would consider average, even though a lot of paddles fall underneath that average, that we always put. Neither one of these do. Even the 14mm, So in terms of sweet spot, these have crazy good sweet spots. That is going to be like the last thing you're going to gripe about. And overall, it's a high quality paddle in terms of swing weight, twist weight, spin, controllability. The one thing it's subpar at is power. So if you're already lacking in power, then you might want to get a different paddle. But if you can generate your own paddle, power with the paddle, then this one could be a good pick for you because it checks all the other boxes. This paddle is $179 without my 10% discount. In terms of value for your money, you've heard how I've talked about it in this review. You heard all the boxes it checks and the box that it doesn't necessarily check. So it's up to you technically if this is going to be worth the money. But to be honest, if you've noticed, a lot of the pro players are going to these wide body shaped paddles. So it's been making me want to kind of convert. So I've been spending a lot of time with the 14 millimeter and the 16 millimeter just to try to get used to it, to see if that's something that I would want to, transfer or translate over to at a later date. Because hand speed is going to matter more when it comes to playing against gearboxes and stuff like that. So lighter swing weight paddles are going to be more optimal in my opinion going forward. So I would like to make this my main paddle, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'll make a video, later on, probably towards the beginning of next year about which paddles, I would use in a tournament. But right now I'm trying to sort of hone in on using this. There's no promises it'll be my number one. Just know that this is a crazy good paddle though. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Until next time, stay safe. Have a good day. Drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.